Yeah, I think Spence beat him at this point in both of their career. I think Spence beat him. At the end of the day, I'm not the one that controls who win or lose.
What could you tell Tim, or what could you tell him about a Spence fight if he was a future opponent?
I can't tell him nothing. I just tell him good luck, train hard, and go in there and fight.
You watch him in person, he's a dangerous guy. When you see him up close, the punches out of snap, that's the difference. That's the discrepancy there. It's like it's night and day. It's boys and men. It's just a whole different ball game.
We know that for anybody standing in front of Spence Toto, you're gonna destroy them. So I mean, this might be the perfect opponent that Errol Spence needs to come back and show the world who Errol Spence really is.
Hold on, boxing fans might not be ready for this take from Terence Crawford, and it hits hard. Crawford has broken down why Errol Spence Jr. could be a nightmare matchup for Tim Tszyu, especially with fight night getting closer. He believes Spence carries the kind of brutal power, pressure, and ring control that can overwhelm Tszyu early and completely change the rhythm of the bout before it even settles. According to Crawford, if Spence finds his timing from the opening rounds, Tszyu could be forced into survival mode rather than executing his usual aggressive game plan. But Crawford also hinted that Tsyu's toughness and pressure style shouldn't be ignored, because one clean adjustment could flip the entire fight, making this clash far more dangerous and unpredictable than many fans are currently expecting right now in the boxing world today's scene. Terence Crawford has basically hinted that fans often forget just how dangerous Errol Spence Jr. becomes when he is fully locked in and fighting with complete confidence. He believes that when Spence is in that mindset, he transforms into a relentless pressure fighter who can break opponents both mentally and physically. And with fans now heavily debating a potential showdown between Spence and Tim Tszyu, the conversation is heating up across the boxing world. Many analysts and supporters feel that Errol's elite experience, physical strength, and constant forward pressure could create serious problems for Tszyu from the very early rounds of the fight. That is why Crawford's warning is being taken seriously, because if Spence starts fast and establishes control, Tszyu could be forced into a defensive battle he may struggle to escape early on. Terence Crawford has made it clear that he sees Errol Spence Jr. as a potential nightmare matchup for Tim Tszyu, especially when breaking down styles inside the ring. In his view, Spence brings a mix of relentless pressure, sharp and punishing body shots, and an elite boxing IQ that can systematically break an opponent down round by round. Crawford suggests that Tsyu's naturally aggressive approach could actually work against him in this kind of fight, because it opens the door for Spence to counter, control distance, and dictate the tempo. As the rounds progress, that steady pressure combined with accuracy could start to wear Tszyu down mentally and physically. Eventually, Crawford believes this style clash could expose key weaknesses in the Australian fighter's defense and ring control under sustained elite-level pressure. Zab Judah has also explained why he believes Tim Tszyu could be walking into one of the worst possible style matchups against Errol Spence Jr. According to Zab, Spence becomes extremely dangerous against fighters who are willing to stand in front of him and trade without constantly disrupting his rhythm. And with Spence now rebuilding his team and preparing for a comeback, Zab believes this fight could remind everybody why Errol was once considered one of the most feared pressure fighters in boxing. Zab also added that if Tim Tszyu chooses to engage in a high-tempo battle, he may end up giving Spence the exact kind of fight that allows his pressure, experience, and timing to take over completely and potentially dominate the later rounds of the matchup very early in the contest overall fight. Ronnie Shields also shared his thoughts on a potential Errol Spence Jr. versus Tim Tszyu clash, and it was clear he still holds strong confidence in what Spence is capable of at his absolute best. He suggested that fans are placing too much weight on Spence's most recent performance instead of remembering the dominant version of Errol that controlled and broke down elite welterweights for years. According to Shields, that peak version of Spence was built on nonstop pressure, elite conditioning, and quiet confidence that allowed him to suffocate opponents round after round. And if Spence is able to rediscover even a close version of that form, many believe Tszyu could be walking into one of the toughest nights of his career, where every exchange becomes a test of survival under sustained elite-level pressure. Meanwhile, Oscar De La Hoya also made it clear that he still considers Errol Spence Jr. to be among the elite fighters in boxing, despite everything that has happened in his recent career. According to Oscar, fans are far too quick to forget just how dominant Spence looked before the Terence Crawford fight, when he was controlling top-level opponents with pressure, timing, and physical dominance. He also emphasized how dangerous Spence becomes the moment he starts dictating the pace of a fight, forcing his opponent to react instead of executing their own plan. And with Tim Tszyu known for standing his ground and willingly trading in close exchanges, many analysts believe that style could play directly into Spence's strengths if he returns sharp, confident, and physically ready to impose his rhythm from the very first bell of the matchup. Now the big question is whether Errol Spence Jr. can truly turn back the clock and remind the boxing world why he once ruled the welterweight division with fear and dominance, or if Tim Tszyu is about to prove that a new era has officially arrived at the top level of the sport. Both fighters come in with questions, pressure, and massive expectations, making this matchup one of the most unpredictable clashes in recent memory. Some believe Spence's experience, jab control, and body attack will be too much over 12 rounds, while others argue Tsyu's timing, toughness, and sharp counters could flip the fight at any moment. At this point, it really comes down to who imposes their rhythm first and who breaks under pressure. What do you think, experience or youth, Spence or Tszyu? Drop your prediction in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more boxing news, analysis, and fight drama just like this.